What's going on, guys? We are live right now from the Serato studio in Brooklyn. I have a very special guest with me, AQ, all the way from Harlem. And then also, all the way on the other side of the country, we have Tiffany Miranda in the building. How are you?
What's up? What's going on? Super excited to be here and vibe with you today.
Yo, Tiffany, you got me. Tiffany, I'm so happy you can join us, man. And it's so like a full circle moment because when I actually first started DJing years ago, I want to say, oh no, where'd Tiffany go? Oh, okay. Sorry, disappeared for a second. When I first started DJing, like 6 years ago, I met Tiffany in the beginning of my journey. So it's nice to have you on and reconnect with you, especially with everything you got going on with Girls Make Beats.
Yeah, thank you. I guess we're having some Wi-Fi connection issues here, unfortunately. So I missed what you said. I'm so sorry. What was that?
The new world we live in.
Technology. But AQ, let's introduce yourself, who you are, what do you do, what are you known for?
Yeah, so I'm AQ. I'm a house DJ and producer, straight out of Harlem, New York, as you said. I've been in like entertainment and music for a while, but right now DJing is the one that really is taking over my life, as well as producing, which I just started doing. So yeah, I play South African house. Well, I play house music in general, but my specialty is South African house. That's what I'm known for.
Love that.
And yeah,
I like I seen you did a Doc Martens commercial.
Period. Pooh.
Yeah.
Yes. One of my greatest achievements so far.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of many. That's
I know,
you know what I mean?
One of many for sure.
But in it you said something really dope where you was like, I'm Harlem outside, but I'm South African inside. I really like that statement.
My mom is the one that made sure of that, because she obviously is like purely South African. So coming here from SA to here and raising a child like me, you got to teach them, certain kind of, ways and certain different things so that they, make sure that they're in tune with their culture.
Right.
And I love that my mom kept me in tune and made sure that she sent me back home every year and that I was like, I knew who I was as a person. So I think that definitely played the biggest role in what you see now as AQ.
I love that. So growing up, what were like the musical influences that you were listening to that your mom played or that you gravitated to naturally?
So for one, it was the church.
Oh, really?
I grew up in the church, yeah.
Okay.
My mom is very spiritual.
I love that.
I'm Christian, so like the church was number one. And with church is like beautiful melodies and like choruses and stuff like that. So that was definitely my number one inspiration. Two, I love like classical music. I grew up playing the violin, so that's awesome. Yeah, that was something I was always into. And then of course like the regular, like the R&B, the souls. In South Africa we have a genre called kwaito, which is pretty much a slow down disco. If you say like a African pop music.
Okay.
So I grew up on a lot of South African music, so like it'll be that or like our house music as well. And like the I love Letta, she's really dope. As well as Brenda Fassie, that's always been an inspiration as well. And then my mom was also like, especially in South Africa, like we have like a huge like R&B, like we play a lot of like on our radio stations, they play a lot of music like they wouldn't even play here.
Really?
So yeah, like artists that you wouldn't even really know type.
So you mean explicitly or just like as long as it's good they're playing?
Yeah, as long as it's good.
Oh, I
just
love
play
that.
Good music.
Yeah, that's dope.
So it can be a wide range of people, like the normal people that we know, like the Marvin Gaye,
right,
and whoever else in that soul department, the R&B and the funk.
Okay.
So yeah, I have a well-rounded kind of ear.
Yeah.
I listen to all kinds of music. So yeah, I have a lot of different inspirations.
I love that. Okay, so when did you start DJing? Like as a kid, was it something that you always wanted to do? Like, Mom, I want to be a DJ, or is it something that kind of just fell on you?
No. I had no idea I was gonna be a DJ.
Really?
Yeah. Like I said, I always did music, but I didn't know I was gonna get to this point. Like how I started DJing was pretty much I was making dance mixes for my dance team that I was a part of on virtual DJ. and GarageBand.
Oh wow.
So as I was making the mixes on there, I'm like, oh, this is okay. I kind of want to see what this is like on like an actual set. Then I taught myself. And then I started DJing like the college parties where I was doing the dance team with that. So
that's super dope.
And it just kind of it just kind of fell into place like in itself. Like I just love the art of DJing. It's so fun being able to play music.
Yeah,
there's just something about just playing music.
For me, it's the reaction. Liked. Yeah, I like seeing other people get excited and be happy about songs I love.
So exactly, it's such a nice feeling. We're here. We're on the same wavelength.
Word. Okay, so you started DJing, pretty much through your dance team, and in college. Mm-hmm. All right. So in college, how did you take over? Especially as like a woman DJ, I know coming in, it's a new town for you. You're not from there. Like, what was that journey like?
So easy because my roommate was also a DJ as well.
Oh wow!
Funny enough, and she had her full setup, and I didn't even know.
Yo, that's actually that never happened. Yeah. That really aligned.
It's so crazy. And I also my mom and my sister, they had gifted me like a controller and like these like Phantom speakers, I think, that just did not work. So I had like DJ equipment in my room just chilling there. And then one day I was like, we just started talking. She's like, yeah, I'm a DJ too. I have my whole setup. I'm like, oh, okay, so let's like throw parties and stuff. And then we literally just started doing parties on campus, off campus, with the dance team, without the dance team. Right. And that's how we got started. And people really liked us. Like they really liked us a lot. And the first party we ever did, we spent 80% of the party trying to figure out the sound. Because we did not know what to do.
Yeah.
And she was also kind of like new as well. Like she was teaching herself like me.
The tech part is always the hard part, especially with venues. You don't know what they got.
Exactly. Yeah. So we started like that, and then we finally figured it out after having like one more hour left in the party. And then from there we were just like, okay, boom. So we know how to do it now.
Yeah. So next time
exactly. Let's keep on doing it, and now I'm here.
A lot of people are afraid to like start because they might not be good or because they might run into tech issues and they don't want to be embarrassed. So especially as like a woman, it's already kind of like, you're not a real DJ. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, what was it for you that kept you being like resilient?
I was like, I want to figure it out. Yeah. That was it. Like, I'm like, I want to really do this and teach myself and learn. I know I can do it because I know I feel like I can be good at it. Yeah. So what am I going to keep stopping for? And, things are not going to be perfect. Like DJing, we're not perfect. Like I'm good, but I'm not perfect.
Right.
So, I need to just keep on. I can't just like give up just because of one thing or something people might say. People always going to have something to say.
Talk about it. Yeah. People are always going to have something to say. Yeah.
And sometimes I care, sometimes I don't, And that's just me being human.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I want. That's it.
I love that. I really love that energy. Yeah. So let's talk. I seen you just dropped a new single, music video. Super dope. I like who shot the video.
Eat It Right.
Eat It Right.
Eat It Right. Are you talking about that one?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I did that with my homegirl, Kenny.
Did you come up with the treatment? Because it's hilarious.
Yes, I did. It's pretty much based on my life.
So that happened. That poor guy out there.
Shout out to Ike. Shout out to my boo Ike.
Yo, once we finish this live stream, make sure you guys go check out Eat It Right.
Yes.
On her YouTube. It's hilarious. It is. It's really good.
It's a story that everybody can relate to because it's just like, we're young. We all have our little sex capades, and we all have those moments where it's like, damn, like we was looking forward to this, and it's like
a disappointment.
I hate it. But I shot it with Kenny and Brian, my two good friends. I did the whole video with my friends.
Dope. So that was fun.
From the styling to getting the location to the shooter to the people in the video.
Yeah.
Like I did everything with my friends, so I'm really, really proud of that. It's my first video ever and my first track as well that I made on Serato Studio.
Nice.
And yeah.
You made that on Serato Studio?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about that because you said that you just recently got into production, right? Mm-hmm. Is Serato Studio the first software that you used, or were you trying other things before you got to SS?
So in high school I would like dibble and dabble in FL Studios, which is like, if you know, it's just mad complicated.
Yeah.
I still do it now as well, but what I liked about Serato Studio was how easy it was. It took me a little while to get used to it, but I mean, with practice you'll be alright.
Yeah.
And then I figured it out. I really like the layout
interface
and it just made it easier for me. So when I did, I was kind of shocked myself that I even made that beat. I was like, okay, girl, you doing it.
Yeah.
You're figuring it out. And like, all the beats that I've made so far, like I dropped a track called Give Thanks. I also made that on Serato Studio as well.
Fly.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Let's see if we can get Tiffany.
Tiffany, welcome back.
What up? What up? My internet is trash.
No audio.
Hold on. Oh no.
I'm sorry, Tiffany. Don't kill us. Just we gotta figure out the audio.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
You guys can hear me?
Until we're ready for Tiff. Yes. Sorry, the spotlight's on you. You're in the hot seat today.
Okay. That's why we're here.
Yeah, so let's talk about the production aspect, because I tried to get into producing. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult for me. Even with the Serato Studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be very, very tedious, but the thing is, you just have to like give yourself some time, because even when I made Eat It Right, it didn't come out good the first time.
Oh, okay.
You know, so it's trial and error type thing, playing around with sounds of different beats. I love Splice as well with the royalty-free sounds. It makes it so much easier to produce.
Yeah.
And also they have the packs as well on Serato Studio.
Which you can download, yeah.
And I love the Jewels pack because that has like a bunch of Afro sounds that are really, really dope. That people are really getting into right now, because African music, it's
taking over.
It's on the come up for real.
Yeah, so it is.
Just try it. Give it a try. Even if the beat is whack.
Oh no, I did when I was in the Serato DJ class and we had to make 2 beats. I was so embarrassed and I had to play mine because everybody's playing their fly thing. I'm like, oh God. All right, guys, this is what I came up with, and I ended up trying to flip George Michael Faith. You know, it was I still got it, but I ain't never gonna play that ever again.
You gotta give it a try. It's not gonna be perfect the first time around, you know.
Yeah,
for real, because it's like DJing. It's not gonna be easy,
right?
Like presenting, it's not gonna be easy. You just gotta.
So here, I have a question for you. Something that I really struggled with for a long time, DJing with, is talking on the mic.
I don't talk at all.
You don't talk at all?
I do not speak.
Really?
No. The only time I speak is on my show that I do every Wednesday.
Okay.
Because I have to. You know,
wait, where's your show?
So I do that Rise Radio. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yeah.
Spot. Yeah. So I have a show every Wednesday called Meet Me There from 2 to 6.
Nice.
I have guest DJs that join me every week as well. They have like a nice 2-hour set. We do like an interview portion. So I'm training on my interview.
Okay, journalism thinking.
Didn't I tell you? So I have that in use. So that's cute, and that's the only time I talk. And then obviously like the people in the comments that want to say hello, and I love interacting with them because they really support me. Right. So I don't talk. And if you notice, house DJs, we do not speak. At all, because it's all about the music. Yeah. And people that are listening,
you're just trying to feel the beat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The party goers that come know house music and they love it and they just want to hear the music. Yes.
Can they see the video on the screen?
No, they can't.
Oh, they can't. Dang. Oh my God. Yeah. Is there a way those to play it?
We're going to see if we can.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Yeah.
Yes, very proud moment. Very proud moment.
No, that was bad fly.
Thank you. That was at my homegirl house. We really came through with that video. Like, I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of it.
I really love it creatively. I like the concept, the group chat aspect of it too, because that's real life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That poor guy. Did he watch the video?
He watched it.
No.
Yes, he was like, I was like, come on, you knew your role. Even when I told him to like be a part of it, I was like, okay, listen, you're just playing, a F-boy, you're not gonna eat it right, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that's your real story. And you know what's so funny? Like, his name is Ike Slimster, and people under the comments were like, "Oh my god, like how you do that to Ike Slimster?"
Aw,
Relax.
that's hilarious. Nah, I love that. So that's a funny aspect. In hip hop, I feel like we gotta talk. Like say something clever and then go into it. But I just don't think I'm not that clever on the mic. You know what I mean? I'm not funny. I just want to vibe and feel the beat and stuff like that. But do you tap into other sounds when DJing too?
No. My life is straight up like house music. Unless I decide to like, I like to mix like acapellas, like hip hop, R&B acapellas over house beats.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing it live, then I do it in the edit and I'll play it that way.
Fly.
So yeah, I mean, look, before I was playing house, I was playing everything else under the sun, and I still was not talking.
Really?
Yeah.
So when did you transition from hip hop to just strictly house? Like this is my lane. When did you figure that out?
So when I had graduated in 2016, I had been playing everything, but then when I had got back into like the social scene and the party scene, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start throwing in South African house music into my sets because I want to hear it, and I feel like other people might want to hear it too. There's definitely a demand for it a bit, you know?
Yeah.
Because South Africans and Africans are in my world. And I want to bring that culture to the forefront. Like, there's so much more music people don't know.
Right.
So I was like, okay, everybody playing the same stuff. Let me switch up the tempo and play something different. So then I started playing, like, South African music. And then now you hear it everywhere. On the stations, you're hearing it in the clubs.
Yep.
There's demand for it. Like, I will go out. I will hear it in the street. Even, like, Jerusalem, I'm hearing that on the radio. Like, that for me was like a full circle moment because I'm like, I'm seeing what I did come into fruition.
Yeah.
And then when I started playing house, completely.
Yes. Tiffany's back, guys.
Yes. Cool. So when I started playing house completely, I think
calling you a pioneer, kid. Hey.
Yo, honestly, for real, I really am like a trailblazer pioneer. I take that very seriously because, you know, I've been pushing this culture for a minute. You know, with this off of the straight two with my collective Tropical John as well. We threw events that were based on like South African culture and stuff. So I would always play because I was a resident DJ. And that's when I really started just playing straight up house music because I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to be a house DJ. I love house music. And, you know, I just want to be different in my own way while spreading the culture. And
it's your own lane, you know?
Yeah,
own that. Real. That's dope.
I really did. And now I'm hearing it everywhere. So it's crazy.
I love that. Before we get into Tiffany, tell me more about your collective.
Tropical John?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's called Tropical John.
Tropical John.
What a good little collaboration you did there.
Tropical John flourishes in the sun, and they're a person of color, they're beautiful, they're radiant.
Nice.
And yeah, they're Tropical John.
I love that.
Tropical John.
Okay.
Tiffany a Tropical John.
Yeah.
Me a Tropical John. It's me and 6 of my other homegirls.
Okay.
And we basically do events all over the city. We host events as well. Like we host parties at La Bang with like DJ MoMA.
Nice.
And our popular event is called the Tropical John Braai. And the braai is a South African word for barbecue.
Oh.
So we used to have it at Brooklyn Bridge Park and like other parks around the city. I would come through with the music. It would be like a potluck barbecue. So we would like have people
bring food,
bring it through. We have our friends cook. I'll provide the vibes and the music. And yeah, because in South Africa, we have like a huge party culture, especially like the brides. Like we have places that are dedicated to partying and eating. So we call it Shisanyama. And basically, you got a full club experience, and then you get like a full plate of food at the same time. So we were wanting to recreate that here in New York, and yeah, we do all kinds of things. We collab with different brands, other women, other collectives, whether it be hosting, whether it be curating the event, and yeah, usually when we have the events, it's me DJing.
Super fly. Yeah. Definitely gonna have to come up to the next one you guys have.
Yes, we haven't had an event in a little while because you know COVID doing this thing, but you know, I've been keeping the name alive and strong through my mission.
I love that. Amazing. Tiffany. So sorry that we've been having all these technical difficulties.
I know, you gotta love it. That's technology for you. But we're here.
Yes, but we're here. And you've been working on Girls Make Beats for years now. It's beautiful to see how far you guys have came. I remember I came to the event you guys had, I want to say like in 2016, maybe 2017?
2017, yeah.
2017. It was so dope. Now, before I get into it, I just want to talk about my experience at that event 4 years ago. It was these young girls. All of them looked like maybe middle school, and they were coming up. They were learning how to DJ, how to blend. At the end of the event, they presented like their mix, and they were like really hype. And it's something that I wish that I could have had growing up as a girl with interest in music. You know, you never really have people pushing us in this direction. Like you two are actually probably the only woman that I know in production and engineering. So let's just get to know, who is Tiffany? What made you want to do Girls Make Beats, and how did you get into music?
Thank you. So the reason I started Girls Make Beats, I'm actually a recording artist, and I started singing when I was probably like 10 years old, fell in love with it. And by the time I turned 15, I started getting contract offers in Miami. So a little background on me, I'm actually, I come from a family of New Yorkers. So my family's from the Bronx. I heard you girls talking about Harlem earlier too. I have all my family out there. But we moved to Miami when I was very young. And when I started getting my contract offers, the Miami scene was very much like Trick Daddy, Trina. Actually, my first contract was from Uncle Luke. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, I remember walking into the office to meet him, and there was a young Cuban kid in the room, and he was like, "Oh, so you sing? What you do?" And turns out that young Cuban kid was Pitbull. And Pitbull actually was a big brother to me, and he would come to my talent shows at school and take me around to all these recording studios. And I would sing hooks for him. But I noticed like very early on that all of the creative control and direction was coming from men. I was also a lead singer for a jazz band. So I was learning about all of the jazz greats like Nyla Symone and Billie Holiday. And like these women had like powerhouse voices, and not just in their music, but also in the community. A lot of them were activists, you know? So I was so inspired by these strong female figures. And then I would get so frustrated when I went to the recording studio and it was like, sing cuter, be sexier. You need to, you know, dim it down. And I just felt like, why are you guys trying to like minimize my voice? Like I need to, you know, use the gift that I was given. And I have a very strong, like sultry jazz voice. So it was very frustrating. And very early on, you know, I knew that I wanted to have that creative control. So I got into music production. I remember I was singing hooks for Cool and Dre as well, very early on, before they got their break, which was really dope. And ended up circling back with them years later and becoming like Dre's personal engineer, which is super dope. But I remember looking specifically in their room. And it's funny because now they have a studio called Record Room, and it's a full house that they turned into a recording studio. But their first record room was literally like the garage in Cool's mom's house. And there was like records all over the place. And I remember being in that environment. They had like a mic in the middle. And I was looking around and I was like, okay, so they have a rolling keyboard. I need one of those. They're using a program. What's that called? Pro Tools. Okay, I need to learn how to use that. I was just like peeping their whole setup. And I was like, I need to get this for myself. So super inspired to, you know, create my own music. I got a 9-to-5 job after turning 18 and literally just stuck my nose to the grind and was able to build my own home recording studio. And learned very quickly how frustrating it was when I had all the right equipment, but it didn't sound like what was on the radio. And I was like, how come my stuff doesn't sound as clear? Like I have the gear, I have this, you know? And that opened my eyes to engineering and really learning the art and crafts of engineering. And that was a whole beast in itself. So just a rewind and kind of like, I was brought up with a lot of love, but my parents had 4 kids. We did not have, you know, money to get lessons and things like that. And I was actually kind of robbed of my college scholarship by like 1 credit that I didn't even know that I needed. So At the time, I'm going to date myself here, but there was no YouTube. So your girl would take the bus on Kendall Drive down to Barnes and Nobles and read what was like the Pro Tools 6 book at the time. So imagine we're light years ahead of that, but there was no YouTube University. Like I literally had to read books, be a fly on the wall at every recording studio that I could go to, ask a ton of questions, get a ton of coffee. Like I definitely, put in the work. I remember my first internship, actually, it was at a recording studio in South Beach. And I think it was Jim Johnson. At the time, they had like a huge record or whatnot, and he was one of the main producers at the studio. And I remember being tasked with my first duty there. And it was literally, they opened up a closet and it was like a massive walk-in closet with tangled wires everywhere. And they were like, all right, your first job is to organize these cables. And I was like, what? And they're like, do you know how to wrap a cable? And I was like, of course you just wrap it. And it's like, no, that's not how you wrap a cable. They taught me how to like actually wrap it the proper way so that when you like open it out, it doesn't get tangled and it doesn't mess with like the electric part of the cable and stuff. So like I said, just did my grind, and it was really, really tough. I heard you girls talking about, not having that support system early on as women and girls. And there was no support system. Like there were no other women there. Like I often was pushed to do the paperwork and the cables and all that, which don't get me wrong, I'm all about like paying your dues. But there were times where there were guys that were coming in after me that were late, that were high, that were like half-assing their job, and they were getting opportunities to sit in the sessions, and I would get so frustrated. I'm like, why can't I sit in the session? Like I've been here 6 months, I've done the work, like at least give me the freaking SSL book so I can read and learn while I'm here. And it was just like, nah, you need to call the radio station and request our artists, and you need to do like basically all of the clerical work. And I would remember like just like burning inside, like, I wasn't getting the opportunity that I deserved and not being taken seriously. And then I know as women, we really don't harper on this too much in our organization, but there is a lot of sexual harassment as well, especially in this industry. So definitely faced a ton of that, and just being challenged to be taken seriously walking in the door just because I'm a female. So eventually I was able to become an in-house engineer at one of the studios that I was working at. And it was the craziest thing. Like artists would walk in and the staff would actually get like a kick out of it. They're like, Tiff, sit behind the board and see what they say. I'm like, I'm not going to let them know you're the engineer. I'm like, okay. And so I'd be sitting behind the board, Pro Tools session up, SSL duality, like ready to rock and roll. And the artist would come in and be like, so where's the engineer? And they'd all be like laughing in the back, like, engineer. I'm like, so it was crazy. But, again, I was super passionate about, keeping to my grinds and being successful. And I didn't let that deter me. I got my Pro Tools certification. So at the end of the day, I wound up being a lot faster than most of the engineers there. And that's actually what ultimately helped to break those barriers for me, because I knew quick keys that the other guys didn't because they didn't study, and at the end of the day, now it wasn't about gender. Now it was like, oh, she's fast, she's reliable. And when you save time, you save money. So we want to.
But it's so funny you mentioned the guys getting ahead just because they're guys. Right. That literally happened to me too. It's like, yo, I'm on time. I go above and beyond. I put in more work. And then somebody's hired that be high, that comes late, that I'm actually doing his work, but you're still giving him the job. Right. Like, and that can be really discouraging because it's like, wow, I'm putting in all this just to be overlooked. What is something that kept you pushing even though things like that happen?
Honestly, I'm really fortunate to come from a super supportive family. And there'd be days where I'd come home crying. I mean, like in tears. And like my mom and my sister, my dad as well, but like my mom and my sister have always been like that rock of like, keep pushing, you're a star, don't let nobody tear you down. Like this is your God-given right. Like keep going, keep going. And so that's really what helped to uplift me during those challenging times. And I knew early on there was just a purpose behind my challenges. And that purpose ended up being Girls Make Beats, which is such an amazing thing that has come from all of that, from having to go through that struggle and realizing that I'm not the only one. Like I'm sure like you girls have gone through your challenges, like you mentioned earlier. And, you know, that's something that has been a stigma in this industry for so long. And this change has been much needed for so long. So parallel to my journey in music, I created Girls Make Beats to teach young girls how to become music producers, DJs, and audio engineers. And it's just been so dope.
Yes. No, it is really dope. I have to come to the next event you guys have. I know everything COVID is like weird and stuff like that. But something else you mentioned that I wanted to expand on. When you were working as an artist, I think under Uncle Luke, you're saying that they wanted you to tone it down and like be sexier and whatnot. Like, did you feel like you had to do that, and did you do it?
There were times where I found myself in uncomfortable situations, and I've since grown so much now. If I don't feel comfortable with something, I feel very adamant about just expressing myself. At that point in time, there were things that, you know, maybe there was like a song or something, and it would just get uncomfortable, you know, kind of the dialogue between the engineer and I or something. And it was just, luckily my mom was also my momager, so she would come to all of these sessions and kind of
I love it.
And she was very, very New York from the Bronx. She's like, not my daughter. I don't think so. You know, like, I ain't gonna call nobody out, but my mom has called some of the biggest people in the industry at the time and told them off. Like,
shout out to your mom. That's great.
But yeah, it definitely, you know, was really frustrating for me to find my voice. And it really started to change my perspective on the other artists that I was listening to, because it was like, well, if I'm experiencing this, I wonder if, you know, that other dope female artist that I like, if that's really her, if that's who, or is she being kind of puppeted to be this particular artist? And that's when I really was able to connect to the fact that music production plays such a vital role, and engineers play such a vital role in how women are portrayed in the music that we create from its inception. And again, that's why with Girls Make Beats, statistically, as females, we're less than 2.6% of music producers in the industry, which is insane. And if you can imagine women of color, it's even less than that. So, you know, the opportunities have definitely not been there for us traditionally. We've been super underrepresented. And through the work that we do with the organization, we are, again, just super passionate about creating those opportunities for girls.
Yes, I love that. That's dope. So when did you start Girls Make Beats? And like, I understand how your journey got you there, but what was like all right, today I'm going to start this, and how did you begin that process?
Right. So actually it started back in 2012. I was working at the studio, and I had finally started to see some success as an engineer and respect. And crazy enough, full circle, I ended up doing so well there that Pitbull's label, they had an artist come by and that would book out the studio. And he was like, "You're so dope. I want you to be my engineer." I ended up engineering over at Pitbull's studio. And then word got around, it got back to Cool and Dre. I started engineering for Cool and Dre. Dre was like, "You're so dope. I need you to be my engineer." So I became his personal engineer for probably about 6 months or so. And then he is good friends with Khaled. So I ended up tracking Khaled and Ross and all the Miami dudes. And they were like, "Yo, she's actually really dope." So when I started to see like those affirmations of like hard work and perseverance, like I knew that I had to help create a path for other girls and women to have access to these opportunities without going through half the stuff I went through. So real talk, actually, the very first Girls Make Beats, I didn't even know kind of the age range initially. I was like, I just want women and girls to be empowered. So the first event that we did was actually at that recording studio called Sobe, where I was the in-house engineer. And I just invited a bunch of women to the studio, and I was like, "Yo, like, let's link up, let's create, let's be dope." And it kind of just morphed into seeing that there was like this whole synergy of like, everybody had similar stories. They had been struggling since they were a kid, trying to make it in this industry and being, you know, exposed to inappropriate things that young girls shouldn't be exposed to. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, we really need to teach these baby girls from young that they are queens and that they can walk in the room and say, "That's cool. You make beats. I make beats too. Oh, right. Check out the latest software. Oh, you don't know about this quickie? Hold on." and really giving them that power when they walk in the room to hold their head high and be like, yo, that kick is whack. Like, it ain't got enough low frequencies in it for me. You know what I mean? So that's really where we're at, and it really transcends beyond the studio. There's studies that show that young girls start to lose their confidence by age 5, and we do a ton of interviews with girls from all different walks of life all over the world at this point. Because of COVID, we've been able to open our programming virtually, and during the interview process, we ask the girls, as it's scholarship based, so they have to apply and interview. And we've asked girls all different walks of life, ages 7 to 17, why do you think there's so few women and girls in these positions? And 9 times out of 10, almost verbatim, the response is the world thinks boys are better than girls, or girls aren't given the same opportunities that boys are given. And I'm talking all different ages and walks of life. Like, it's insane that that's kind of embedded in society as young girls, that this is the world that we live in, and that's not okay. So that's why I'm super passionate about helping to change that narrative with what we do at the organization.
I really love that. Talking to you, Tiff, and even AQ, you guys are making me feel a little more confident in what I do, because for a long time, I was not the most confident, especially like even when I first got started, the environment I was around, I was the only girl, and like, it wasn't like love. I wasn't just receiving love. They weren't excited that I was in the room. So just hearing that, it's sad that that's happening to girls as young as 5, and then we grew up with that. So that it's dope that you're doing that to reverse that and change that cycle. Like,
and it goes a long way, because we had, for example, there's a young girl in our program. Her name is Mac 10. She recently changed it. But everybody would tell her, that's a rapper, right? And she's like, well, my name is Mackenzie, and I'm 10 years old, so my name is Mac 10, and it's spelled different. So she's one of our star students, and she was being interviewed at this really big thing with JBL that we did at NAMM, and they asked her, you're learning how to make beats and DJ. What do you want to do with this when you grow up? And she looked at the interviewer and she said, well, maybe I'll DJ some parties, and when I grow up, I'll be the first Black female president.
Period.
I love that.
You know what I mean? It was just like that whole, like, it goes into this whole, transcendence of opening your mind to breaking glass ceilings and being able to do things that you haven't, where we haven't been historically represented. So it goes a long way. For sure.
Yeah. Shout out to Mac 10 for that inspiration this month. I needed that. That is a great clip. What was I gonna say? I was gonna ask, what are some women DJs that inspired you growing up? I know for me it was DJ K Swift, rest in peace. But she had she's the only female DJ I ever heard about that I would see growing up in the DMV. So, and then when she passed, it was crickets for that until diamond cuts came about. And then I'm like, wow. But it always seemed like unicorns. Like, man, they're so special. You know what I mean? Like, I never thought, like, wow, I could do this too. So who were some people that inspired you that were unicorns to you guys?
The first DJ I've ever seen was a South African DJ by the name of Zandi Shijay, who's still a very good sister of mine today. She DJed one of my mom's parties.
Nice.
And I was like, this is so cool. Like, I usually see men doing it. Yeah. And she came through with her whole setup. She came through with her crew, and she tore it up. And I was very inspired by that. She's the first female DJ I have ever seen in my life.
Did she have men bringing in the stuff and setting up?
Probably, or maybe she was carrying it herself because she's a superwoman.
I love that. Yeah.
And she tore it up, and she's still doing her thing now, doing a lot of things for the South African community. And yeah, she definitely is an inspiration of mine because she was like the first example of what I saw as a female DJ.
Fly. How about you?
For me, I'm gonna say Cinderella, because I grew up listening to Salt and Pepper and Spinderella's. I was like, that's so dope. They have a female DJ. I've never seen that. And then the crazy thing is our girls actually had the opportunity to meet and open up for Salt and Pepper and Spinderella. So it was super dope. And she was so positive and so inspirational and just such a great example of, what women and what we're capable of in this industry.
Yeah, I love that. Do you guys ever feel, or have you ever been in a situation where you feel like you're pretty much being sexualized? And how did you guys go about avoiding that? Or did you avoid it? Did you fall into it? I'm asking these things because these are things that I probably did, and then I went back and I'm like, you know what, I don't want to do this. Why did I do that? Like, I felt pressured to do certain things, and then I realized I don't have to do it.
Yes, that's it.
You have any stories?
That's really it.
But I hate that I fell for it first, so that's what I'm asking. You guys have any stories similar?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tiffany. Go ahead, girl.
Oh, I was gonna say I have a few, girl. More than that. But there was a couple of highlight moments that for me were actually like the foundation of why I created Girls Make Beats. And there's one in particular. Again, we ain't gonna name no names, but I remember being probably about 17 years old. And no, I had to be like 18 because I already had my home studio. So I got my home studio around 18. And I, was learning to produce my own music, again, with very little resources. And I went to an open mic, and it was an open mic that was going on pretty regularly in Miami. It started to become like a big thing. And I went up and sang, and the producer was like, I want to work with you. Here's my number, come by the studio. And I was like, okay, cool. And so he invited me to one of the biggest recording studios in Miami that I had never been to. So again, still being very young, 18 years old, I still brought my mama with me. And I went to the studio, and he had me wait outside for like 2 hours, which was so disrespectful. But I was like, all right, whatever, we're here. And went into the room, and I was so proud of this CD. I brought 2 CDs, actually. I brought a DVD and a CD. The DVD, I had put my first Pro Tools session just to show him how organized it was, because I had everything color coded and everything grouped together, and I was so proud of it. And so I come in with my DVD and my CD, and on the CD there was like 3 songs that I had produced completely on my own. I wrote the songs, recorded them, engineered them, would go back and forth to my car to get the mix right, like really, really put a lot of work into this. And I walked into the studio, and I was so excited to show him. And so when I come in, he's kind of sitting at the head, and he's like a big burly guy, and he's sitting in the middle, and he has all his little minions, I call them, around him. And I give him the CD, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a producer, I'm an artist, a songwriter, an engineer. And it's like, first of all, you can't have all of those, hyphens as a woman. It's very intimidating walking in saying that you're all of those things. So he puts the CD in, he plays literally maybe 15 seconds of one song. He says, what's this? And I go, this is a DVD. And he goes, with my Pro Tools session, I don't need this. And he like tosses it to the side. And he goes, okay, I'm gonna tell you what you need right now. You need a songwriter, you need a vocal coach, you need a producer, you need basically everything that I walked into the room saying that I do. He was like, scratch all that, because you're not good at any of that stuff. And he goes, this is actually why I called you here. I want you to be a part of this group. Mind you, this was an African American, very dark chocolate man. And he said, I want you to be a part of this group because you're light skinned, and the girl that's in the group right now is too dark. Wow. And then he proceeded to play the song. And it was like, I love the way it was super inappropriate. It was like talking crazy, nasty, dirty stuff. And I was just like in front of my mom, completely like embarrassed. And I felt so small. I remember feeling so small. And I remember him like being at the chief of the, studio. And again, having every time he would say something or snap his fingers, everybody in the room like was at his whim and like would laugh. And I was just like, this is crazy. Like there was no support. Like even if my stuff sucked, like cool, I'm cool with that. Like I'm a beginner. But the fact that I had bought my own home studio, learned everything on my own, like there's so much potential to be seen there for even like mentorship opportunities, to be like, okay, this is great that you tried, but ... But to come in and just be like, no, you need to basically be thinking about backing your ass up, and you light skin, so we want you in the group. It was like, what is this? And that was just one. Like I said, I've definitely faced tons and tons of that. But that was a very like highlighted moment where I was like, I need to create something with girls. I have to go through this crap.
Yeah. Nah, that's crazy. That does happen. a lot in this industry. It happened to me too not too long ago. They're like, yeah, you have a very forgiving complexion. And I'm like,
what the hell does that mean?
What does that have to do with anything? I'm here for a job. like I don't. Yeah, it is weird. Yeah.
So unfortunately, yeah, it goes on, and it's something that isn't completely gone. I mean, I do think the industry is starting to get better. We have a lot of support. So.
Billboard women's event, right?
Yeah, we were just there a couple days ago. It was so dope. It was like the energy in there. It was all female empowerment. We also got 2-page spread in Billboard, so if y'all check it out. But it was super dope. There was live performances from her, and then she gave a beautiful, empowering speech talking. She got the Impact Award. So she was talking a lot about, how girls and women need more support in this industry. And now she's been able, the reason she's getting the award is because how impactful she's been just by being her. No pun intended, but just by playing instruments and killing the stage and being consistent and just a super talented artist. So I love her. Shout out to her. But it was really dope. It was really, really cool to see so many women being recognized for their talent and hard work.
Yeah, I really like just watching the recap on my timeline of everybody's that there. I'm like, oh my God, I would love to go to this one day. Yeah. Very nice.
I actually brought one of our baby girls, which was so cool. I was like, they're like, we'll give you a ticket +3. And I was like, okay, we're bringing our LA chapter leader. We flew in our Miami chapter leader. And I was like, can we bring one of our baby girls? She's 17. They're like, yeah, bring her. And so she was just like, this is so cool.
Nice moment.
Yeah, that's a great experience to soak up so young. And that's what I like is that like the new generation of girls coming up, like it's going to be normal to see women in this industry. Like conversations won't be so like boring. Yeah,
that is
right. They also did a really dope event with Missy Elliott about a month and a half ago. Missy Elliott finally got her star in the Walk of Fame. I'm like, what do you mean she doesn't have a star already? Like, what do you mean she's just gonna get? But I grew up listening to Missy, and I think she's so dope and such a pioneer in this industry. And we have the honor of having our girls open up for they actually DJ'd her entire event, which was super dope. And like Sierra was in the house, and Lizzo and Janelle Monáe, and Sierra went up to them while they were playing a Sierra song. She didn't. Mac 10 actually was the one DJing, and she didn't see Sierra pop up on her because she was like playing Level Up. So she's like looking down, and then she looks up, and there's like this moment where she's like, "Oh my God, that's Sierra!" And then Sierra comes and starts dancing with her. It was so dope.
That's fly. Dang, we gotta go to next year.
Yeah, I want to be invited.
So, what are 3 things for like any other females that are interested in getting into DJing and production that you would say they should hear before getting started or as they are getting started? Like, if there's 3 things you would tell them.
I would say, for 1, be patient. 2,
patient with yourself or patient with people?
Patient with yourself.
Okay.
Because people, they always gonna do what they want to do, but as long as you have your inner peace and you know that things won't be perfect, we're gonna work on it. You just got to be patient. Things won't come the way that, or come up the way that you want it to. But if you just give yourself some time and be kind to yourself, that's 1. Number 2, I would say it might be cliche, but believe in yourself, because like you're talking about your experiences, things like that will make you not want to do what you love anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, people are always going to be trash around you, especially in this industry, at all times. And it's going to be discouraging because we're already women. We're already dealing with that. That's 1. And then 2, they're not going to they really don't want to take us seriously. So you really do have to have that confidence in yourself to believe in yourself. And also, don't do it alone. Have a support system.
Yeah.
Because all we have is each other. And now we're getting better with, supporting one another. There's more women who are coming together and doing things that, men would be doing.
Yeah.
So have that support system, because you can't do it alone. Like, I love to struggle in silence sometimes. And sometimes I have to remind myself, like, I don't have to do it on my own. Like, there's other women that I can talk to, other people, even men as well. There's other people that can help me in these kind of situations and these kind of you know, in this industry, you always need someone, something.
Gotta find your tribe.
You gotta find your tribe. Yeah, find your tribe and do your thing. Do your thing. Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Play what you want to play. Make
That's
what you want to make.
That's what I learned from you today, for sure. Do what you want to do. I like that.
People always gonna have something to say, but if you enjoy what you like and you believe in it, then who's gonna stop you? Nobody. Who's gonna check you? Nobody.
I love that.
I love that. How about you? That's really dope. I would say on the DJing side that one of the first things we teach girls, and I'll take it in a different direction for a second, but song selection. So I always say, you know, it's great if you can scratch. If you go to play a party, they probably don't, you know, want to hear a ton of like turntablism. If it's an event, you know, that's cool. But at the end of the day, you could be DJing with your hands behind your back. But if you're playing the wrong song, nobody cares. So transitions, I mean, they can be worked on, their technical thing, and they can be forgiven if you're playing the right song and you're keeping the energy. And I always say that's the hardest part of being a DJ. It's not the technique. It's not learning the software, at least for me. You know, it's more so being in a live environment and reacting to what's going on around you and noticing if nobody's feeling what you're playing and being prepared to switch gears. So from the DJing standpoint, that's my first bit of opinion, bit of advice. And then as far as just kind of work ethic, you know, persistence and perseverance is super important. Sometimes no means not now. I've seen that, you know, circle around so many different times in my life. You're going to hear no. And sometimes it just means not now. Like, just keep doing you, and eventually everything will fall in line. And then the last thing I want to say is, if they don't give you a seat at the table, or they don't want you to be a part of their empire, build your own. You know, and that's what I found to be so effective, you know, with Girls Make Beats, and really helping to empower others, you know, instead of trying to figure out how you can fit into somebody else's scheme.
Okay, dope. Wait, so you think that it's song selection, then transitioning? That's what I'm getting?
Yes. I actually went to a party. It's funny. I went to Chicago. We were on tour, Girls Make Beats. And there is actually, I don't want to call them out. It's not a negative thing. But there was a party I went to in Chicago, and the DJs were called Aux-Core DJs. And they had like a huge following in Chicago, and they literally just play from their phone, like literally like Aux-Core, like pass me the aux. But they were playing like the hottest stuff, and they had a huge following. And nobody cared about like, oh, they really blended that well, or like, you know, as a DJ, I'm very critical, and I'll be like, oh, that was a sloppy transition. Those BPMs didn't match up. Oh, those keys were really flashy. But not everybody thinks like that. You got to think from the average consumer, you know, they're listening. They just want to hear good music. They're not going to be like, whoa, that DJ really transitioned well, you know? So I always try to teach the girls to keep that in mind.
Can I add one in there? I don't know if Tiffany said it, but you said selections, transitions, and mixing. Mm-hmm. Know how to mix. I feel like that's key. Even if you do, like, it don't matter what the genre is. I know like different DJs, they do like drops, but I feel like mixing is like standard.
Yeah.
Like, you should know how to mix 2 tracks at least. Yeah. Give it a try.
Not give it a try.
Definitely are super about our girls being as knowledgeable and skilled as possible. Actually, shout out to Pioneer DJ and obviously Serato too. But if you can see, they even have access now to vinyl, which is super dope. And then we got the DDJs on the side over here. So we want our girls to be very well versed. And because they are girls, and because it's not the norm, it's so much more important for us collectively to like really come with it, you know? So definitely knowing your stuff is really dope.
Yeah, they got to come fully loaded. Nothing that anybody can throw at them they won't be prepared for. So that's really good. Even, actually, let's just pivot real quick. I know you guys are working on a song together.
Yeah.
A track together. Let's talk about that. What is it? What's the new song?
So it's gonna be house music, house inspired.
Okay.
Right now it's given like a 123 BPM vibe, you know, something to get, you know, people moving, because as a DJ, my goal is to get people moving. Like when people hear me on the set, you're moving. There's no stopping. Like you're gonna be hot as hell. So I wanted to I know we wanted to do a housey kind of beat, and hopefully have Tiffany get on the vocals, because with the house track you can pretty much say and do anything you want. So I really want us to even me, maybe I'll even get on there and throw some little vocals or something, just to have the freedom to just say what we want on the track, do whatever we want, play around, see where it goes. A lot of heavy beats, nice. I'm trying to, do some nice melodies in there. Still working on it, but it's gonna be very, very cute, and I'm very excited.
I love that. You're gonna sing.
We gonna make it happen, girl. And it's funny because it's such a great opportunity for me to sing on a house track because there is a lot of big voices and jazz influence and a lot of house music. So I'm super excited. I haven't heard it yet, but I already know it's gonna be dope.
Yes,
I love that.
Yes, we gonna get it together, boo.
I love to see the collaboration within women in the industry too, because a lot of times they try to pin us against each other.
And it's because it's not many of us. It's not a lot of us doing it, so we need to be together. It's so important that we're doing things together, because it's always going to be a boys' club, right? We need a girls' club.
Yeah, we do need. I like that. We need a girls' club. Yeah, I think
definitely collaboration over competition all day, every day. We literally from day one, we tell the girls this is a sisterhood, that right there, that's your sis, and there's just this energy that we have as women and that we bring to the table creatively that is not of a man's experience. They've never experienced being a woman. They don't know what it's like to walk in our shoes. So when we get together, literally I had my homegirl in here the other day, and we were let's make a song. And we're yeah, girl. And you know what, he does this and da, 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 da. And so we were just bouncing off the energy, and the song came out crazy. And it was just definitely not to take away from what a man can give, creatively as well. But it's just a different experience that you have as a woman, And I always kind of relate it also to race. It's another race trying to tell a story of another race. You know what I mean? And it's how accurate is that depiction? It's not going to be accurate. It could still be good, but it's not going to be accurate. So when us women come together and we're collaborating and we're creating, we're unstoppable.
We really are so unstoppable. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
I think that's why they try to divide, because they know once we all get together, it's over for them.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. We like you, OP. You're invited.
No, men are definitely our allies. We've had so many dope men come on board and help support, especially as we're growing. We just did a workshop with 40. Cool and Dre came through and did a workshop with the girls. We've done a lot of really cool stuff with dope men. Timberland, we had a whole IG live with Timberland, and he's promoted and stuff. So yeah, it's been really dope.
Dang, that is super dope. So, why do you think there's so few women in production? I feel like there's been a new wave of women DJs coming about, but I still don't see that within production and engineering.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with visibility, and because of the fact that we've been so underrepresented in those fields for so long, it's not something that you see growing up. And that's why this partnership that we did recently with Barbie and their music producer, I should have brought it in here, it's in the other room. The music producer career doll of the year is, really just showing girls that this is an option for them and that it can give them longevity and success. I think about even the fact that I'm a new mom now. I have an 8-month-old baby. He's my whole world, and unfortunately in this industry as a woman, you're kind of taught you should just be the singer and let us handle the production, let us handle the rest of the stuff. And then I started finding out, hold on, the production's where all the money at. That's where you get the publishing and the, hold on. So I'm really passionate about, showing our girls that is an opportunity for them to be able to have longevity and get placements in TV and film. But again, it all stems from really, if you can see it, you can be it. And that's why we're here to help change that narrative.
Beautiful.
I love what you said about production. That's where the money's at. I learned that this year. I'm I can DJ buff for so long, but production, there's so much longevity in that. so much, and in so many ways, not even just for making music. You know, you could do placements in commercials and ads in movies and so many different things. Like I even just dropped a pack on Splice. Like I'm making beats on Splice. You know, I'm making sounds on Splice.
Nice.
You know, so there's so many things you can do in production. And like you said, the visibility, it was not there. But I think if there's more representation, which we see it now, we're gonna make some waves.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I love that. You guys are gonna I'm gonna watch you guys produce that song. We should find
get Nyla on the beat. We gotta get Nyla on the beat on the next one.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely spin the song. I got you guys. I got you guys with that one. But yeah. Trying to see. I don't know. I like this. I like talking with girls in music.
What you got going on, Tiffany? What's going on? What you got coming up?
Oh, girl, the intern. We trying to do everything. We over here, mom life / CEO / recording artist / all of that stuff. So my plate is always super full, but definitely very blessed. Working on a really great project right now with the girls. Our Girls Make Beats compilation album, which is all produced and written by our girls, and it's overseen by mentors in the industry. So we're working with various major record labels that are lending their talent to help mentor the girls throughout the process. But as far as I know, it's going to be like the first female, especially young female produced album, which I'm super excited about. So, and then we're working with various industry partners to actually get placements for them. So we've aligned with like Viacom CBS. We've actually got a placement in Coming to America through Paramount Pictures. Barbie is licensing a song that we did for them called You Can Be Anything. So just really excited for the collective project and being able to amplify that. And then for me on this kind of CEO side stuff, doing a ton of panels this month. We're doing on South by Southwest, a virtual panel with See Her. I'm also doing a panel at Soho House next week. A lot of really cool stuff. And then my personal project, which I'm super excited about because, you know, Girls Make Beats needed to be born and it is my baby and it's finally starting to grow legs. So now I feel like, especially because I'm actually a mom now, I can compare that to, you know, mommy has a little bit more me time. So for me creatively, that's, you know, getting in the studio and writing songs, producing, singing, performing, you know, so I'm really excited about all of that.
Dope. Is it Soho House, New York that you're gonna be at?
No, there's one in LA.
Oh, there's one in LA. All right. We thought we was gonna be able to pull
that. Well, I'm actually starting my first label.
Nice.
It's gonna be called Select Her.
Love that.
Yeah, so that's gonna be dropping soon. I got the inspo after just making music. I'm like, you know, I kind of want to like have creative control of what I'm doing, but also inspire others around me. So hopefully, you know, I can, with Selector, I can, you know, involve some more women who want to do DJing, production, engineering as well.
Yeah.
Same mission as Tiffany's. And yeah, just uplift each other, whether it be like through events, you know, shining a spotlight on females, doing even maybe like a selector festival where it's just like a bunch of selectors.
That'd be dope.
You know?
Yeah.
A bunch of women in different industries and music and entertainment, art, whatever. And I'm also gonna be starting my own party called Control. So that's gonna be on March 11th.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm just trying to, you know, I'm trying to do my thing, trying to do my own
you
stuff.
You doing it. You ain't trying. You doing it.
I know I have a tendency of saying try, but I am doing it.
You're doing it.
I'm doing it. So it takes a lot of work and a lot of motivation. It's very hard to stay motivated.
I was actually going to ask you guys, like during the pandemic, was it hard for you guys to find motivations? And when you did find it, what were the things that spiked for you? Because it was really, really hard for me. And what I ended up doing was just pivoting into different genres. Mm-hmm. But like, what about you guys?
For me,
that's my last question, I swear.
For me, I started producing in the pandemic. Okay. That's when I made Eat It Right.
Oh, okay, nice.
In the middle of the pandemic. What inspired me was boredom. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? I'm tired of doing Zoom events.
Yeah.
Girl, I don't want to look at another Zoom call and try to troubleshoot because people think, they expect you to know how to do
Are you gonna
DJing
be
on Zoom calls.
tapping into the meta world and DJing in the meta world? Is this something we're into?
I do want to try the little DJ app on the Oculus. I'm not gonna lie.
I think
I want to give it a try just to see what it's like. It's pretty cool, I want to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I in the pandemic, that just really showed me how what's the word? How the industry is, it's just you're pretty much on your own. There were no clubs open, so we had to make it work. And it was very discouraging. I'm like, damn, how long are we going to be in this for?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can continue doing Zoom parties.
Yeah.
Because I want to be around people. But that's when I decided to do production. Because I was like, okay, so I obviously have to do more than just DJing.
Yeah.
That's how
that is definitely what it taught me too. You cannot just be a DJ.
Yeah,
you got to be multifaceted or hyphenated, like Tiff says.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Facts, for sure. For me personally, the pandemic definitely made me take a seat and kind of because when I moved out to LA about 4 years ago, I remember just always being on go. I don't even remember being in my apartment for more than going to sleep and waking up. It was literally okay, I'm going out. I got to pack some sneakers out here because the hills and stuff. I got to bring a jacket because it gets cold at night. I'm gonna bring me a party dress. I'm gonna bring a bathing suit. I'm gonna bring I literally was boom, 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 boom. I was moving so fast, and so it definitely made me sit down and take a beat and really just really focus on what it is that I want to do with my life and tapping back into myself as a recording artist. Also becoming a mom, that was huge for me. I was I don't know if I want kids. And then during the pandemic, I was like, I think I need a legacy to keep going. So we're going to try this. And so became a whole mom. And then the cool thing with Girls Make Beats, virtually, we were able to expand and work with so many girls all over the world. And it's the dopest thing to have a class where, traditionally you would be in a space, Nyla, you've seen our girls together, and that there's nothing like being in person together. But, you're limited to that space. There's only, 10 or 12 people might fit in a classroom space. And, there's the spaces we had. And virtually, we were able to work with girls in Brazil, in London, and the collaboration and them bigging each other up on Instagram, you go girl, that's hot, you look so beautiful. It was just mind blowing for me. So even though obviously the pandemic is very challenging and it's traumatic, there was some pluses that came out of it for me.
I love that. Well, thank you guys so much for chopping it up with me today, stepping up with Serato. Shout out your IGs where they can follow you guys, where they can stream, eat it up, where they can catch all the girls.
Yes. Well, you already know I told you I'm Puerto Rican, so I got a long name. It's Tiffany Delilah Miranda. It's super long. Hopefully we can text it somewhere. But Tiffany Delilah Miranda is my personal. And then for Girls Make Beats, it's Girls Make Beats. We also have a lot of great scholarship opportunities for young girls all over. You can go to girlsmakebeats.org/register. And if you want to contribute to what we're doing, again, our scholarships are, we're 98% scholarship based. So we work primarily with girls in underserved communities and providing access and opportunity. So if you want to donate and help contribute, definitely check out girlsmakebeats.org/donate.
Well, my Instagram is AQB Global, because I do. And you can also follow my collectives page, Tropical John, Tropical and John, JAWN. And I'll be dropping the Select Her IG as well very soon. It'll be Select Her Global.
Select Her Global. On the lookout. I love that. Big congrats to you guys. I really feel inspired through this conversation.
Thank you. I'm inspired by you too. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah. And I also want to give a big shout out to Serato. Thank you so much for creating a platform for us to connect. And hopefully we'll continue to build together and do some amazing things. You ladies are amazing.
Exactly. Yes. And if I think I forgot to introduce myself for those who don't know, but my name is Nyla Symone. I'll be hosting 7 Up with Serato all month long during March for Women's History Month, interviewing other amazing women like this. If you guys haven't already, please follow me on Instagram at Nyla Symone. You can catch my show on Power 105.1 every week. And then also my TV show on Revolt is coming back in April with Rhapsody and Big Tigger. And then my show on Comedy Central with Charlamagne Tha God will be back in June. Very educational. One show is kind of educational, the show with Charla and political. And then the one on Revolt is just fun and hip. So make sure you guys tap in with me too. Thank you, Serato. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Until next time, guys, we'll talk. Peace.